Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day here in North Carolina. Low to mid 70s, it's feeling really nice, like springtime should. This video is just going to be a little update on some past projects and some of the stuff that's up in the air right now. Made some videos on them, thought I'd bring you up to date on where we are and where we're standing on it. Hopefully you've all seen the last video on the service truck where we got it running, drove around the fields for the first time. Fingers crossed if everything goes well today, it's going to hit the road for the first time. But I'll show you a few other things that I've done since that video that I needed to do, and I'll take you around and show you a couple other things, give you a little update on those, where we are and how things are going. I'll say ahead of time, 2022 is kind of, for me, just like it has been for everybody else, it's not going very well. It's definitely not started like 2021 did as far as the reclaim process, but stay tuned. Well, if the light's not blinding you, that's probably the biggest project. You can see here, fingering the screen, we got the gooseneck hitch in, holes drilled, everything's bolted up good and tight. I have not welded the sides yet. I'll divulge that here in a minute. No big deal. We're not, in dire need of it right now, but I wanted to go ahead and get that in there at least bolted up. Like I said, all I'm going to do is just run a couple of small beads down the side here and go from there. So let me show you the top side of the hitch situation. Okay, real quick. The bed floor, I've got to cut the bed floor out. The collar on the bow is going to put the traveling point of the coupler with the trailer right at the floor level, and if I go into a dip, into a ditch or uphill or whatever, I'm afraid the coupler will hit the bed. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that out big enough where the coupler will clear everything, in a bind, I guess you would say. And I'll just build me a little trap door there. It's not going to hide anything because the ball is going to be sticking through the bed anyway, but I wanted to go ahead and do that just for safety purposes. So we've got to do that, and it'll give me access to put my safety chains down there. So that's the situation on the gooseneck hitch. A couple of beads of weld at some point when I get the ball in and work on the bed, but like I said, that's no push right now. I don't have the trailer finished. We did get some LED lights installed, just regular tail lights here, replace those, clear reverse lights. I've got some of these little push-in 3/4 lights here. I've got them in red, amber, and clear. I had some holes up here from where this had a ladder rack on it, so I just utilized those holes and put those there. I got my LED lights for the toolbox. I like these. They're hard back. They're not just the stick-on type. You can either mount them with magnets or those little holes there. You can screw them in. So I've got, I think, 8 or 10 of those to go in each toolbox, or 2 per box. And then picked up this switch here. I've used this nylite stuff for years working on boats. Works out really good. Put a fuse on there, one in the back, rocker switches. That's going to go in the truck. I'll show you in a minute. But we should have the LED lights for the toolboxes on one switch. And I'm probably going to mount or wire these up to where I can flip those on with a switch, just if I'm working on the trailer back here, just something as a little general light. And then in the bed in here, I've got several holes already from different things. And so I'm thinking 2, 4, 6 on each side of this style little light right here with a clear. I've used these on boats for years, and they're really bright when you put 3 or 4 of them together, but they're not blinding bright. So that would give me plenty of light on the inside of the bed to do what I need to do. I'm going to have the compressor up there, generator, and then, of course, hooking up the trailer will come in handy. So that's probably what the third switch there will be. But been kind of working on that here or there. So let me show you one more thing on the truck, and then I believe that'll be an update on the truck. We'll definitely look over the mess, but I'm going to tell you what, out of this whole project and everything that I did, that right there was the hardest thing about this whole project, was getting that shifter boot in. I bought a new one, I showed you that. It wasn't conformed to the floor, so it was very stiff. Had a hard time getting everything lined up. When I finally did get the little, number 10 sheet metal screws that they send to hold it down, then one of the front ones stripped out. It didn't strip the metal out, it pulled down through the plastic piece, so I ended up having to put some long sheet metal screws in with some washers to hold it down, but it fits in with the truck situation there. And there's that little spot on the dash, little square plate right there where my switch panel will go. So we're going to try to get this unit out today and clean it up, wash it. And like I said, I'm going to try to hit the road with it today. So let me get started on that, and I'll bring you along and update you on a couple other things that we're waiting on, and got some feelers out that'll hopefully make things easier as time goes along. Well, it's another day. I didn't get around to showing you the other projects and filling you in on what few things that I talked about in the beginning of this video. I just kind of got sidetracked with the truck here, getting it cleaned up and tools on it and whatnot. I was wanting to drive it home last night, which I did. Well, I made it halfway home. We had issues. Rear axle started making a noise. Really scared me at first. Limped it back here to the farm, backed it back in the shop. Once I got it in here and jacked it up, it was already like 9 o'clock by then. I figured out what the problem was, which I think is a simple fix. So I'll bring you along for a little bit of that, tell you a little bit about what's going on there. I'm not sure if I'll get to put the rest of the stuff I was talking about in this video or not. I don't want to get too long, but this is probably going to be one of those babbling videos that I do. But I want to keep you guys up to date on what's going on. I was right smart disappointed that you know, had issues on the maiden voyage, but it's to be expected, and it's really something that I cut a corner on that I shouldn't have, and it cost me a lot of time last night. I'll show you here in a second. Okay, well, here's the issue from the noise last night on the maiden voyage. There's just absolutely nothing left of these emergency brake shoes. They run inside the rotor there, and I knew it was bad. You know, we had to cut the cables off when I was pulling the rear end out, and I just thought that the springs on the back would hold everything in place. My stupidity, cut the corners. I should have already done this, but you know, there's not even a backing plate here. Didn't even really realize that till just now. And so there's nothing that holds these shoes other than the spring. So you can see how loose that is. So when I hit a bump last night going down the road, shoe slid over, and it was rubbing right there on the inside of the rotor. So we're just going to do away with that. This stuff's very expensive. I've already checked on it before. The springs, you know, I have to have springs, adjusters, everything is very expensive. I've done it before. Probably just going to put a hydraulic line lock on the truck. I do like that. It gives you 4-wheel hydraulic brakes, just like if you're mashing the brake pedal, which with towing trucks is good in my opinion, especially being a single rear wheel and not a lot of weight. If you're loading something on an incline and it takes weight off of the rear tires for any reason, and say they were to just, you know, you're in gravel or whatever, and they were to get a little bit off the ground and you're on the incline, the truck can take off because this is only braking system. So just put a line lock on it, tie it into the junction block, and that way you just pull a lever, push your brake, pull a lever, and it holds brake pressure on all 4 wheels. So we're just going to do away with this right now, get everything out of the way, get all these rusted parts and pieces off, put everything back together, and hopefully go down the road with it. All right, take 2 on the maiden voyage. Getting ready to head towards the house here in a minute. Got all the brakes off the back. Actually, there wasn't shoes on one side. So don't cut corners. That's the best tip I can give you. Don't cut corners, it'll cost you. I'll take you around here and show you a couple other things, and we'll just call this another babbling video. Okay, here's a little update on the Plow. I haven't got a chance to do much to it with the truck and everything, but did talk to a couple people and read some more things, and I really think I did good on this unit. I'm really excited about it. The main thing right now is the tail wheel piece. If any of you guys know where any of these plows are sitting, you know, somebody be willing to part out, or that you could get your hands on a tape measure and get me the measurement for this back piece that attaches the tail wheel, I would sure appreciate it. My email's in the about section. You shoot me an email. Maybe somebody might have one on the fence row or something that's tore up or in really bad shape that they'd be willing to part out. So let me know. I've got a feeler out, possibly one. Waiting on them to check in a junkyard right now to see if it's there and if they're willing to get rid of it. So that's kind of the I won't say hold up on the Plow, but I need to get that first. Once I get that, then I can go ahead and get it hooked behind the tractor and get everything set up and be able to move it around. Like I said, the tires and wheels are not a big thing. I just need to figure out this piece back here. I can build it if I can just get some measurements, but it would be nice just to have one to bolt back on. So looking forward to seeing this in the ground at some point. You know, we definitely hit a roadblock this year with the way things are going, but let's move on. I'll give you an update on something else here. All right, the situation on the big 14-foot gyro mower. The drive shaft there, the side shaft that you saw twisted, is at the shop. I have not heard back from him yet. I think I mentioned in the comments, just throw it out there, this was all my fault. That right there is rusted tight. I checked it for play. You can see it looks like it's moving, and that's all I did, but actually the disc and plates are rusted together. I can see a lot of rust right there. So this was all my fault, costly mistake. instead of checking that, loosening it up. I've been told by several people I should have loosened it up and made a couple rounds with it, let it slip, burn all that off from sitting over the winter. It sits under that cover, but I guess the moisture. So the front drive shaft here, I talked about that in another video. What I'm going to end up having to do is buy a coupler and make that myself. I'm going to ask him what he'll charge to balance it out for me if I weld it together. I've done it before in cars and trucks, but you know, we'll just have to see how that works out. I hate to take eggs to a restaurant and have them make them for me, but we'll just to see how his parts are. But that's the hold up right now on the big gyro mower and getting down in the field and doing some bush hogging. Okay, here's the other dilemma slash hold up. This is one of the 5-foot bush hogs that we have. This one goes behind the B414 International that I have. The PTO shaft is short on this one and it works behind that tractor, but behind the Oliver or my dad's Ferguson, the shaft is too short. So we have one long shaft, which is on the other bush hog on my dad's tractor, so that means we both can't get in the field at the same time. The B414, the PTO shaft, has a snap ring on it that holds it in its groove, and the shaft is wore out and it's popped the snap ring again. This will be about the 3rd time we put it back together. I just haven't had a chance to get it in the shop yet, so that was one reason I've been so diligent on the truck. So hopefully we can get it in the shop, get the snap ring back on there, get it hooked back to this bush hog, and start mowing some of this grass at least 5 foot at a time till I get the big one going. So that's definitely a hold up there. It's not like we can just jump on smaller tractors and go. I mean, my dad's done some and I've done some with his, but to be able to get a hold of this stuff, we really need 2 tractors running. So we shall see. And last but not least, to round out the lineup of broken down equipment and stuff that needs repair, is the 655 Alice track loader. I think I'm going to have to pull the right hand steering clutch out of it. I'm not sure if the bands are wore out, if it's stuck or what, but it's not wanting to steer at all to the right. It's kind of giving us a fit most of last year. I adjusted it a little bit. There's really not a whole lot of adjustment. Somebody's been in there before and kind of got things jankered up, if you will. So I think I'm just going to have to pull the hydraulic tank off and the seat and everything and get in there and pull the clutch out and see what's going on with it. And you know, like I said, the parts are readily available, thank goodness. But you know, this is another hold up. I mean, it's not like I can just jump on the loader and go down here and start clearing or doing anything. So we're definitely battling the odds this year for sure. So all right, let me get situated. We'll just call this a babbling video, like I said. Okay, everybody, we're gonna wrap this one up and call it a video. Wasn't a lot on this one, didn't turn out the way I intended for it to when I started it the other day. You know, wanted to detail a few projects and issues that we've come upon, which I guess I ended up doing that, but took a little different turn with the whole truck deal there. We're gonna try it again this afternoon. Wish me luck. You know, 2022 has not been kind to anybody, especially in the farming industry, you know, with fuel prices and, you know, expenses going up and unavailability of parts and whatnot. So, and that trickles all the way down the ladder to me at the bottom of the totem pole. You know, doing this part-time and everything else, everything costs out the yin yang, if you will. But we're running into a lot of issues. Nothing new for farming, nothing new to any of you guys, but it's definitely put a damper on my plans for this year so far. Seems like every avenue I turn, there's, you know, something new. The big bush hog being broke down has really set me back on getting, you know, maintaining the fields. Explain the issue about the little bush hogs, you know, tractors being broke down. Now the loader's broke down too, if you will. The 1086 seems to be good. Hopefully the truck will be good. So the truck project, you know, being behind me, other than the little, you know, add-ons here or there that I can do on rainy days, whatever, should be great. So I'm hoping for that. But apologize for the content here. Like I said, I'm not sure which route we're going to go. Hopefully it comes through on the deal with the plow, and you know, I can get this bush hog situated. We're just kind of waiting to see what he's going to say about that drive shaft, and if I can afford to get the front one fixed too, I'm going to have to do it myself. Not sure how that's going to work out yet, but you know, just hang in there with me. I know that you guys have been following me along from the beginning. You know, I should have been planting and having things in the ground, and you know, some of that is my mind, but a lot of it is just money and things just not going right and taking on too many projects. I got way behind this last fall and winter with the lean-to project and the office and everything else, but it's stuff that needed to be done. So you know, all you can do is just pick up the pieces and move forward, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So thank you to everybody here that's new. If you have any questions, you know, new subscribers have any questions about anything I'm doing or whatever, don't hesitate asking me. Drop it down in the comments. I'll answer them best I can. So we'll just see what the next day or two brings and go from there. thank you everybody for continuing to be here and following along the journey with me. I know it's up and down, but we're going to get there one day. Until next time, thank you.